There is only one perfect solution, but there are clues that will try to trick our team.
Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb and welcome to another KTANE modded modules tutorial. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of my most proudest modules that I was involved in, Off Keys. So this is a series, this is part of a series called The Familiar Faces. It's sort of similar to the Not module collection, but it does it in a way that is unique in its own aspect. So, what this is a reference of is this is a reference of a very old module, I believe one of the first modded modules to be released, Piano Keys. And this is going to be a play off of that. This was released a couple months ago, and the way that you can tell the difference between piano keys and off keys is two things. One, you have a reversed keyboard here. In this case, it starts from Bravo to Charlie in reading order instead of from Charlie all the way to Bravo. And also, the top here will display question marks, which are actually selectable, which will be shown later on down the line, which you'll see in just a moment. So this is a very simple mod to do, but it takes a little bit of getting used to. So let's have a look and let's see if we can figure out what to do. So an off keys module has a reverse keyboard, which we can see right here, ranging from B to the note C. And in this case, it gives you a little diagram, which shows you each of the notes individually. So what we're gonna do, so 4 unique keys on the keyboard play incorrect pitches. These 4 keys have been tuned to slightly flat or slightly sharp. So they've been increased or decreased by 1 semitone. And what we need to do is we need to figure out which keys those are. We're going to use the graphic below to find the name of each detuned key, which in this case is referring to this one. So let's first figure that out by starting to play the piano at any given time. And what we can see here, what's going to happen is that we're going to be able to freely play this piano as much as we want before we start interacting with the question marks, which you'll see what the question marks do in just a moment. So in this case, as you can see, we cycle through 3 different symbols here. And now what we want to do is we want to figure out the unique keys that are playing incorrect pitches effectively. So I have a virtual piano just as a proof of concept, just as sort of a way to make sure that you guys can hear the notes being different or not. So I'll get rid of sustain and we'll look at the notes. So we just played Bravo. Does that play the same note? So let's have a listen. So let's do Bravo on the keyboard here. So Bravo is right here. Not quite the same note. So I have reason to believe that Bravo is off by 1. So then let's go to Alpha Sharp. Alpha Sharp. Oh, let me maybe use this one. Oh. Might be Alpha Sharp off too. Yeah, because these two are playing the exact same note. Or these two are playing the exact same note, and that's how we know something is off. Don't mind the question marks being like that. So something is off here. So let me figure out which note is playing which. So yeah, so that is Alpha. Alpha Sharp is off by 1. So Alpha Sharp is playing Alpha. Yeah, and then Alpha Sharp is off by 1 too. So we actually have 3 notes that are off immediately wrong. So Bravo, Alpha Sharp, and Alpha are all incorrect. So yeah, so Bravo is shifting down a semitone, and Alpha is shifting up a semitone to play Alpha Sharp, and then Alpha Sharp is actually shifting down 1 to play Alpha. So a lot happening there. So let's hear Golf Sharp. That matches up. It's a little bit hard. Maybe let's turn the sustain on. Yeah. Then next up is Golf. That matches up. Matches up. Yep. And yeah, another little easy way that you don't necessarily need the piano for is just to kind of go through them, and if they don't line up, or if there's something that's playing a wrong note like this in this case, then you'll know something's wrong here. So in this case, we know it's one of these two because they're playing the exact same note. So which one is which? So Delta Sharp. Delta, I think, matches. Yeah, Delta matches. So Delta Sharp is playing Delta, so therefore Delta Sharp is our wrong note. Now the direction that each of these are playing, whether it be up or down, is irrelevant. It's just simply noting down which ones are playing the incorrect notes. And in this case, so we should be able to play you know, I can see the question marks are kind of freaking out there, but that's just part of the module. So now, what we need to do is, as you can see here, 3 of the question marks we're cycling through 3 different symbols. So 3 of the keys must be assigned to one of the musical runes at the top of the module. Though they appear as question marks, playing any key will reveal the true symbols inscribed behind each mark. So let's actually get that down, and we take a look at this over here, and we need to find each of these notes. So let's play Charlie. So we have this guy right over here. We have, I believe, sharp. I'm not going to bother noting down the notes of these. And we have that symbol, which is like a diamond, right there. Okay, so we have these 3 symbols present in here. So now what we need to do is we need to figure out how we assign each of these, 3 of these keys to each of the notes that we have present. So all runes map to exactly 1 key. No 2 keys map to the same rune. 1 detuned key will remain unpaired, which we will get to that in a second. So let's take a look and let's see what we have here. So what we need to take a look at is each of the adjacent symbols, or rather the adjacent notes that is adjacent to each symbol, which there should be a max of 3, and sometimes 2 in this case. And what we need to do is we simply need to pair these guys up with the notes that we have present. So if we take a look at this 2-1 here, it's going to be between alpha and echo, which this symbol is going to get paired with. And if we take a look at our notes that are detuned, we can see that alpha is the only one that actually is present with this. So we know for a fact that this symbol is going to be paired with alpha. Okay, and which symbol did that correspond to? That, I believe, was the 3rd. Yes, so alpha is going to be paired with the 3rd symbol. Next up, if we take a look here, we have Charlie sharp, Foxtrot, and Alpha sharp. Now, in this case, Alpha sharp is one of our options, and that's actually the only option that we have present. So therefore, we're going to be pairing this with Alpha sharp. So Alpha sharp will be number 2. Now, there might be some cases where you have 2 notes present that are also present on the module, in which case there is always going to be some way to deduce which note goes to which, effectively. But in this case, with this last one, Charlie, Charlie sharp, and Delta sharp, we only have Delta sharp present, so therefore Delta sharp is going to go with the 1st. So now what we're going to do is we're now going to select the rune first, then the note that we need to pair it with. And what you'll see here is we simply need to, so we tap the rune corresponding to the key, and then tap the rune, then its corresponding key on the keyboard. Map all 3 runes to their correct key to disarm the module. So be careful, as you cannot change your answer once you select a rune and a key. So be very careful with how you select this, because what's going to happen is you won't be able to enter in another answer later on down the line. So to submit your answer, we're going to then press the unused tune key, which in this case, we did not use Bravo. So therefore, we're going to be pressing Bravo as our answer to submit the module. So let's hit this. So let's hit Delta sharp. So this and Delta sharp. And you'll know a key is paired because the question mark will disappear. Then we'll do Alpha sharp for the 2nd pair. And then Alpha for the 3rd. And then finally, we're going to hit Bravo. And just like that is a solved module. Our answer was correct. Everything was matched together lovely. And just like that, there we go. So let's take a look at one more example. Hopefully we can get something that's a little bit trickier, but that just gives you a rough idea of how the mod works and how it actually can be a little bit tricky if they are grouped up together. So the fact that Bravo, Alpha sharp, and Alpha were all together is kind of funny. So just bear that in mind. There is a very easy way to tell these apart from one another. There might be a case where they play 2 notes of the exact same way, which means you'll limit it down to 2 options there. But sometimes you might not get so lucky. So we'll have to take a look at that. So you can use a virtual piano if you want to. It's not the most ideal way, but it definitely is just a nice way to make sure that you are using the correct notes. Or you can simply just note the notes. You can be cool. So let's start with Charlie, I guess. Let's do the right way. Charlie. So Charlie is wrong. I believe is playing Charlie sharp. Yeah, it is playing Charlie sharp. So Charlie is one of our first ones that's wrong. They're both playing the same notes. That matches. That's good. So Charlie sharp is fine. Delta sharp does not make sense. That does not make sense. Yeah, that's a bit of a note too high. I believe it's playing Delta sharp. Yeah, that's playing Delta sharp. So Delta is wrong. Yeah, because they're both playing the exact same notes. Echo. I believe it's playing Foxtrot. Yeah. I believe also Foxtrot's wrong. But in this case, Echo is definitely playing Foxtrot. So Echo is wrong. I believe Foxtrot's also playing Golf Sharp, or Foxtrot Sharp, rather. Yeah, so Foxtrot is wrong. So Charlie, Delta, Echo, and Foxtrot are all wrong. And in this case, as we can see, if we want to make sure, we can listen to these last 6 notes and listen that they're all in pitch. And that matches. Brilliant. Okay, so we know we have these 4 as our untuned keys. So let's find our symbols now in the grid here. So let's do Charlie. So we have this note, which actually, here we go. We need to deduce whether it's between Delta or Echo, because Alpha Sharp is not present as one of the keys, but we do have both Delta and Echo as untuned keys. So we need to figure out some other way to deduce this, which should be simple enough. So we have this one as well. Oh, and in this case as well, Charlie, Delta, and Echo. So this is actually a perfect puzzle for me. This is really good. So then let's do it again. And it's this one right over here. So therefore, we know for a fact that Echo, since it's the only one that is present of these 3, is going to be corresponding to the 3rd symbol. So therefore, you're going to correspond to the 3rd. Then, we know for a fact that Delta and Echo were present on this one, which therefore means since we've already used Echo, we cannot use it again. So therefore, this one corresponds to Delta. So the first one corresponds to Delta. And since we've already used Delta and Echo on this one over here, this has to correspond to Charlie. So therefore, this one is Charlie. So now let's match these up. So let's do you go to Delta, you go to Charlie, and you go to Echo, and then we simply hit Foxtrot to submit. And just like that, it is happening. And just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.